would like to welcome Mr.
There's an echo in your voice.
Shivaji, you are echoing.
I'm echoing. I don't know what's the problem.
You must be having instruments. Are you logged on to?
Hello. Is it okay?
Still an echo.
Still some echo.
You're using the microphone and also the headphone.
Hello?
Okay.
Is it okay now?
Still an echo.
I don't know why it is.
You're using the microphone of the laptop as well as the headphone.
No. I have just put off the headphone.
Okay.
So I think we start. The Wildlife and Bee Protection Foundation brings to you the 14th lecture of the series, Conservation of Forests, Environment, Wildlife and Allied Natural Resources. In this session, Mr. Sujoy Banerjee, Chief Conservator of Forests, Wildlife Gonda, Uttar Pradesh, will share his valuable experience and insights on the topic. The man-eating leopard of Sohelwa Wildlife Sanctuary, Balrampur, Uttar Pradesh, challenges in management of human-wildlife conflict. The lecture elaborates on various facts, facets, and challenges involved in dealing with and managing human-wildlife conflict at the ground zero. This lecture is dedicated to the fond memory of late Mr. Ajay Desai for his iconic contribution to elephant conservation in India. I would now request Ms. Lima Rosaline to say a few words on this occasion. Ms. Lima? Your voice, Lima.
I'd like to share my presentation.
Please share your screen.
Can you see that? No, no?
Present now.
I need share screen. No.
Present now. There must be an icon present now.
Present. Okay. Man.
Entire screen, and then your presentation should be
Yeah, share.
Your slides are open. Entire screen, and then go to your window. The window where your presentation is seen.
Is it seen right now?
Not yet.
I can't share. I don't know why. I need permission.
You just
Share your entire screen.
click present now icon.
Yes, I've done that.
Then there
Entire
will be a
screen.
pop-up, entire screen, and you will see a window where your presentation is open. Your presentation should be open on the desktop.
It is open on the desktop. I just need to go back because it's a full screen. Nah?
So when you go to entire,
I'm so sorry. Little challenged. Share your entire screen. But the share icon is not showing. That's my problem. Okay. Uh,
Otherwise, can you email your presentation to Mr. Johan?
can I do that right now?
Yeah, that's the only possibility, I think.
You go to the present now, and then one pop-up will appear. You click in the entire screen, and two windows will appear. In one of the windows, you will see your slide open. You click in that window.
Yes. So that is what I'm doing. But my share screen is not showing. So my presentation is open. Okay. I'm so sorry. What is this?
On lower right side, you will see present now. Present now, I think. From present now, the entire screen thing will open. Share a window or entire screen. It will give you an option.
So when I go to my presentation and I do so I'm starting.
No, on the Google Meet, you will see present now.
हाँ वो तो है वो present now तो है. But when I say present now, when I go to share it, एक minute. Shit. Have I logged off?
No.
Just click there.
I think simultaneously you can email the presentation to Chauhan sir.
Shall I? Yes.
Keep trying.
Shall I do that, Shivaji?
Yeah, please.
Done. Oh, I'm so sorry about this. Yeah, Shivaji, take this.
You mailed it?
Yeah. आ गया?
Not yet.
Have you received? It's gone from here. Have you received?
Yeah, trying to.
Fresh karo, refresh karo. I will anyway start.
No, I have not. I haven't received it.
Maybe slowly you can start, and by the time it receives.
I think you can start and then let us see.
Yes, that will be better.
Ajay Desai.
Okay.
Our very own elephant whisperer, conservationist par excellence, dear friend, colleague, mentor, and above all, a very humane soul. He left us unexpectedly in the morning of 20th November 2020. I first met Ajay at the Bombay Natural History Society in the year 1985. I had just about joined, and it was just 2 months. He was a few years senior to me at the BNHS, and he'd come down to Hornbill House from his hilly abode in the Mudumalai National Park. He'd come down to meet Mr. John Singh, the then project scientist of the elephant project in Mudumalai. There were many interactions with Ajay over a period of, I think, 3 decades. But the most, I'm not an elephant person. I work in the area of birds. But, as part of our training program, there were many programs that were held at the Mudumalai National Park where Ajay was stationed. One of that was the vertebrate ecology workshop when he took us elephant watching, he took us gore watching, he took us, we had a lot of interactions of watching elephant in the field and the nuanced listening of elephants that he had. So one of the biggest highlights for us during those days was the International Elephant Seminar in 1993 that was organized in Mudumalai. And I and Gautam Narayan were part of the organizing committee, and we had gone there a month ahead to be in Mudumalai with my 1.5-year-old daughter Sibya. And we were stationed at the bear house, and Ajay, the bear house is a very, very basic accommodation for researchers that was given. That's an old dilapidated hut that was given as a field station that was gifted by the Forest Department Tamil Nadu to the BNHS for elephant work. It was a field station. It was called a bear house, basically because sloth bears used to come and rub their backs on the bear house, and there were these 2 round patches, and that's how the house got named Bear House. So Ajay gave up the only room that was livable in that room was his, and he gave up that room for us. And there was a chameleon in the room, and every day Boma, the field assistant, come cook, come ombudsman would come and feed the chameleon, and I would really be in jitters. What if the chameleon started walking all over the place in the night, and I sleeping in a single bed there with a small 1.5-year-old child? So we're really very worried. And Ajay said, "Nay, that is my pet, and either the pet stays in or I live in with my pet. But since I'm giving up this room, my pet will not go anywhere." So we had 2 nights with the chameleon there in the bear house in Mudumalai. This was also the time when we had newly collared an elephant, and and as part of our trip, when we driven down in an old dilapidated jeep from Bombay to Mudumalai, and we had gotten all the radio collars, the radio collared antennas. So this antenna was like a toy in his hands, and he would jump up and down the house, all over the bed, trying to track the radio collared elephants and trying to show us how loud the sound comes when the elephant is close or when the elephant is far. And suddenly he would vanish into the jungles, not tell anyone, and we'd be all worried, where is he? The lights have gone down, and slowly the man would emerge from the forest, walking up to the bear house. So this was him. His one most important and most all-encompassing love for elephants was completely overwhelming, and I really Ajay's expertise transcended countries, organizations. He worked across the globe for Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Thailand. He worked with organizations like the WWF, the IUCN, the FAO. He was a consultant to several state forest departments in the country, and everyone sought to avail of his flair, his discernment for the well-being of elephants. Elephants meant the world to him, and he would brook no argument, giving even a so-called rope, a long rope, before he was satisfied that it needed to be put down. More often, he would suggest rehabilitation for the pachyderm and train become a forest department worker, the elephant. Such was his innate ability to listen to elephants. He was truly an elephant whisperer, I must say. And if you see the man in the field, it was so amazing to know how he could, he could literally understand what the animal was talking to him. More recently, he was supporting the Indo-German project on human-wildlife conflict mitigation as a coordinating lead author of National Human-Wildlife Conflict Strategy and Action Plan, and of also setting up guidelines on human-elephant conflict mitigation, apart from his contribution to training, planning, implementation at project sites. He was in totality holding up this project for GIZ. To us, Ajay remained the ever-grounded research scientist and friend, a very, very dear friend. The last call to me, he came on July 2nd. He was taciturn about many things except his elephants. But we often discussed Aaron and Swapnil and his children, and of course, and he was very mighty proud of them, and of course, Shanti, his one true love, his wife. His pranks, his wry humor, his hearty laugh, his never-ending leg pulling. Ajay would have us in splits. He was so known for playing pranks on everyone in the field station, whether it is Mr. J.C. Daniel or Mr. Musli or, who have you. And he had a minor aversion to spirits. But there's one thing that I know he loved, that is Shrikand and Jalebi. And whenever we would host a party for all the incoming wildlife scientists, when they come from the boondocks to the BNHs, we would always get together. I would love to host a party for them. And Ajay would say, "Mere liye 1 kilo Shrikand lana, plain, not flavored." And that was his dinner. If there was Shrikand and everything else, it will only be Shrikand. And if it was Jalebi and everything else, it will only be Jalebi. What can I say about this man? He gave us all, his talent, his hard work, his keen mind, his straightforwardness, his intelligence, his humanity. He gave us everything, and he was sought for everything. First, he passed on to elephant heaven and is roaming among those gentle giants, of which he was one. We will always miss you, Ajay. And to his family, my heartfelt condolences. We all love you. We're there for you. Please let us know what we can do for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liman. Swapnil, thank you for joining us. Swapnil, thank you, Beta, for joining.
Thank you, Dr. Shivaji. It was nice to be here. Thank you very much. Thank you all for hosting this memorial on behalf of my dad. I know he would be really proud, and I can say he gave his life for this cause, and I hope we all continue fighting for it.
Sure. We are surely of that.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Now, let us go ahead with our late Mr. Ajay Desai Memorial Lecture to be delivered by Mr. Sujoy Banerjee. Mr. Sujoy Banerjee is a committed conservation professional belonging to the coveted Indian Forest Service, a specialized cadre created by the Government of India for the conservation of forest and wildlife in the country. With more than 2.5 decades experience in the field of conservation, he has a 360-degree work experience in senior positions in various sectors of government, corporate, research and academics, and international non-profit making organizations. He has worked in India. He has worked in India within the government, both state and federal, inclusive of 3 years in World Bank Forestry Project for the state of Uttar Pradesh. WWF India, an international non-profit organization in the field of conservation, Balrampur Industries Limited, a multinational company, and the Indian Institute of Forest Management, Bhopal, a research and an academic institution, as a teaching faculty. He was awarded the prestigious British Chairman Fellowship of the Government of the United Kingdom, the International Visitors Leadership Program of the Government of the United States of America, for his outstanding contribution in the field of conservation. He has been conferred with the Royal Bank of Scotland Earth Heroes Award. 2014 for outstanding work in the field of wildlife and habitat conservation in the National Chambal Wildlife Sanctuary. He has been chosen as a global change maker among the 35 awardees chosen worldwide among over 50,000 Championing Scholarship awardees by the Commonwealth Office of the Government of UK in 2019. He is a TEDx speaker. Mr. Sujoy Banerjee is currently posted as a Chief Conservator of Forests, Wildlife, Gonda, Uttar Pradesh. He has a passion for singing and is a celebrated singer and a guitarist. He has various songs related to conservation to his credit. So here I present Mr. Sujoy Banerjee. Sir, over to you. Welcome and good afternoon.
Thank you, Dr. Shivaji. And let me start this presentation by paying my homages, my heartfelt homage to Dr. Desai. And it is unfortunate that he is not among us, and the conservation fraternity has certainly lost one of its key members. I see a lot of familiar faces. Good evening, Suhas Kumar sir. There are, hope you're well, sir. There are a lot of other people. I acknowledge them. I can see all of them. Advait, Swayam Prabha, Lima, of course. So let me start with my presentation. Now, this is by far not a very scientific presentation per se. It is more of what kind of situations we are dealing with on a day-to-day basis, we as park managers, as field managers. And it is certainly not a presentation to show what is the best practice to be followed or what is to be done. It is more of sharing of a field experience of what we were able to do or what we could do. And I'm sure most of you have wildlife background, so you might be able to find a lot of flaws in the way that we handled the situation. But nevertheless, I'm presenting it as a case study before you and not as a practice of what was right or what was wrong per se. So let me start with my presentation. Is my screen visible to you?
Not yet, sir.
Just hold on one sec. On
the right lower side, you will see a present now.
Huh?
Yeah, it is. It's on. Yeah, it is on.
Yeah. Can you see the entire presentation now?
Yes.
Good. So let me start my presentation by showing you these pictures. So people who are attending and those who want to speak, I just want to ask them, what do they see in this picture? What do they see here? I mean, as you can see, there are 3-4 people who are trying to chase away a full-grown tiger with sticks and shouting. I mean, does anybody want to come up and say something about it? Quickly, 1 or 2 words. Am I audible? Hello?
Yeah, you're audible, sir.
Anybody wants to comment on these pictures?
Your screen is not visible to me, sir.
The screen is not visible to you. Dr. Shivaji, can you please help? I mean, is it visible to you?
It is visible, sir. It is visible. I think some
Must be a network problem with him.
Okay, there must be a network problem possibly.
I can hear you clearly, sir.
Okay, I mean, here we see some group of people very close to a tiger, hardly some 15 feet away, and they're trying to chase away the tiger into the forest. You can see it is on the fringe by the vegetation of it. Anyway, so, I mean, if nobody has anything to say, then I certainly will move ahead. And according to me, this is how man-eaters are born. So it is that the people who go so close, they are risking their own lives, and they do not understand that a stick is no match for a full-grown tiger. And if he wanted to attack, then he could have possibly grievously hurt or even killed one or more of these people. So the crux of the situation is that humans are slowly encroaching upon the habitats of wild animals. And, sometimes situations as this one or more often, the sugarcane, for example, the sugarcane fields, they serve as a very good habitat for leopard, especially, or sometimes even tigers. And when the sugarcane is being cut and suddenly they get startled or they get exposed, and then they tend to attack in defense. And this is how they become man-eaters. Now, in the presentation that I am going to make, this was not the situation. And this is the area. You won't be able to see my mouse. So, as you can see, Nepal is in the north, and in the south of Nepal, the southern part of Nepal, lies the state of Uttar Pradesh. And the portion in the circle is the Sohelwa Wildlife Sanctuary. It is bang in the Indo-Nepal border. It's touching it. And if I blow up this part, then you can see it more clearly. This is the Sohelwa Wildlife Sanctuary, a linear sanctuary, which is 120 kilometers, about 120 kilometers in length, and hardly averaging 4 kilometers in width. So you can see that this is a very, very thin sanctuary, though about 120 kilometers of largely unbroken forest. But there are a lot of habitation, there are villages inside it, there are roads going inside, there are people going inside. So there are a lot of disturbance within this sanctuary. And if you can see in the bottom of your screen, this is Gonda. This is where I am based. And in between is Balrampur. And this is where the headquarters of the DFO of the Sohelwa Wildlife Sanctuary is there. And the distance between Gonda to the farther end of the Sohelwa Wildlife Sanctuary would be somewhere around 120, 130 kilometers. So with this background, let me start my story. Now, there are leopards, and quite a few number of leopards in the Sohelwa Wildlife Sanctuary. There are no tigers, excepting the transient tigers. We do see the transient tigers sometimes, because, as I said earlier, the thickness of the sanctuary is hardly 4 kilometers. There's a lot of disturbance, a lot of human presence there. And just because of this reason, it is not a very suitable habitat for tigers. We don't have much prey base in terms of the herbivores or vast grasslands. But there are tigers who are transiting from, eastern part of Nepal or somewhere around, and then they would go all the way to the western part. And in the west, we have the Bahraich forest, the Katarnia Ghat, and the Dudhwa. So we do have a number of leopards who are actually, coming in conflict with humans, and human injuries take place. And I am not taking into account those injuries, and I'm starting my story with the first human kill. This took place on the 2nd of April. Now, I would like to emphasize on the dates, because the dates are important. The attack dates are important. I'll tell you why slowly. But in this particular case, there was a boy who was 13 years of age. And as you can see, it was a hot summer night. And he was sleeping in the open with his mother and other siblings. They had a big family, and he had some number of siblings as well. And this is the place that you can see. Up north is the fringe of the forest, and in between are the villages. And as you can see, if you look at northeastern part, then there's a big cluster of village of houses that you can see. And in the southeastern part also, there's a big cluster of village. And this place where this killing took place is somewhere in between. And possibly the leopard actually thought it was like more desolate as compared to other places. And this is about 700 meters from the forest. The leopard came in the night, and he tried to catch hold of this boy by his neck. And as soon as he did, the boy gagged, and his mother who was sleeping, she woke up, and other people also around, they woke up and they raised a sound. The leopard got afraid and he ran away. But he had actually punctured his jugular vein, the veins of the throat, and the boy eventually died. He bled to death. So this was on the 2nd of April of 2019. The second attack took place on 2nd of May. Now, the first attack took place on 2nd of April, and the second attack took place on 2nd of May, exactly 1 month later. So, as you can see, this wasn't a regular man-eater. It wasn't, fully dependent on humans for its, food. And it was kind of on the fringe of becoming a man-eater. And in the second incident, this girl was of 10 years age, and she went out in the night for nature's call. and this leopard came and attacked her. But thankfully, her other people were around, and they raised a lot of noise, and the leopard did injure the girl grievously. But no, I mean, she survived. Luckily, she survived. The other thing that you can see is that the strip of forest that is Sohelwa Wildlife Sanctuary is up north. And whereas this particular patch of forest that you can see on the southwestern side, this is from the Shravasti Forest Division, and as you can see, it's clearly away, and the distance is almost 15 kilometers. So the leopard traveled about 15.5 kilometers through human habitation over a period of a month and made this second attack. Now, all the while it is in human habitation, but it takes him a month to do the second attack. Now, the third attack was on 14/7. So that is again more than about a month and a half, And again, it is in the same area largely where the first kill had taken place. This time it was a 12-year-old girl called Leela Devi. And again, the distance is 15.44 kilometers. So it traversed about 15.5 kilometers in the southwest direction, and then it went back all the way back towards the forest. And it took him again, the attack took place almost 1.5 months. So obviously the leopard might have gone back to the forest and came back a second time. Now, the attack was a little alarming for us because the girl, she had come to attend a fair, the religious fair in this temple. This is called the Vibhutinath temple. And as you can see, this is the veranda of the temple. It's quite, broad, and people were sleeping, not just her and her parents, but a number of people were actually sleeping in this open veranda. Now, this isn't exactly an open veranda because it's covered from the top and also from its side. Now, the leopard entered, it picked the girl from the throat, caught the girl from the throat and jumped along with her and through these opening in the wall that you can see in the photo on the right. And this is actually a kind of an encroachment on a forest land or whatever. But it's on the fringe of the forest. It's right inside the forest in a way. So if you look behind the temple, it's all forest area. So it actually jumped out and took the girl in the night in the forest, and she could not be located. And by the time it was located, one part of her thigh was completely eaten, and she's obviously dead. And a part of her, the entire thigh of one of her right leg was completely eaten. So this is where this animal became a man-eater. Now, we as park managers had a very peculiar problem. The peculiar problem was that somebody has his, I think, mic on, so my voice is echoing there. Yeah, thank you. So the peculiar problem was that there were 3 leopards simultaneously operating in this particular area in the village where we showed earlier, and the village by the side of it, or largely in an extent of about 2 kilometers. There were 3 leopards that were seen, and their pug marks were seen. So, let me open it to the audience and ask, if you face a situation like this, so what do you do? What should be the right thing to be done now? Anybody wants to, say something? Dr. Shivaji, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
अगर ऐसा सिचुएशन है तो मतलब हम लोग को क्या करना चाहिए? This is what I mean, all of you are wildlife experts, so it would be good to hear some of you at least what could have been done. 3 leopard एक साथ हैं, एक ही area में हैं, एक operate कर रहे हैं. We don't know which one is the man eater. We still don't know. So what do we do actually?
Was it possible to
Do you track them?
Advait, I heard you. Advait.
Was it possible to get saliva samples from the body and DNA, that sort of thing? Was that available?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. We didn't even get hair samples actually, because we didn't think on those lines at that point of time. We didn't have DNA samples. Then all we had was a set of pug marks, and that is how we knew that there were 3 leopards operating in that area.
Maybe put a camera traps around the place where it frequents.
Yes, we did put camera traps, but still, I mean, we were not able to identify which one was the man-eater. So anyway, anybody else? Any other suggestion? Okay.
Probably map the area around which they are more frequenting, maybe the population size or the possibility of livestock around. Could be one of the ways of looking at it, maybe. I don't know.
No, there weren't any livestock attack per se, but what they would do is to come on the fringe, and maybe they were actually feeding on smaller animals or sometimes dogs. And this was very peculiar because in this Vibhutinath temple itself, there were a number of dogs, but the leopard actually chose to lift a girl, and that too when the place was absolutely crowded. Like, I'm sure like all of you would have visited a temple when there's a fair. So like, there are people all around, not just in the veranda. There are people sleeping on the floor. They're just everywhere. So hundreds of people must have been present when the leopard actually attacked, which is a very, very strange thing, strange behavior of the leopard, I would say. This was very, very strange behavior. Anyway, so let's continue on this. What we did was to actually look at pug marks, as Advait rightly said, like we could have done DNA printing, or we could have taken saliva samples, but that was not possible. We did not find hair samples per se. And obviously we were like visiting the place. The person in the white shirt who's facing back with the camera, he's the SDO, and the person standing next to him on the right is the DFO, Mr. Rajnikant Mittal. The person on the left with dark goggles is from WTI. So what we were doing is we were trying to see what we could do. We were holding meetings with villagers and trying to tell them not to go out in the night for open defecation or for attending the nature's call in singly. They should go in groups. They should have torches. And we formed joint teams. We provided torches to the villagers, and we formed joint teams, the forest department and the local villagers, for night patrolling. And machans are specially made near the fringe of the forest, and where people could actually keep a lookout. So we had one of our staff and at least one villager sitting there and doing a night duty, looking out for the presence of the leopard. You can see the DFO on the right making the visits to villages and like making people aware about the problem. And we installed trap cages. We installed several trap cages around the places where these incidences were happening. So this is how a trap cage actually looks like. And in the night, we used to tie a bait into it. So like bakari baandh dete tha, as you can see, and there's a pressure plate. So if it it trips the door. So if the leopard is inside, the door will trip. So now, as luck would have it, we actually caught hold of a leopard in the trap cage. Now the issue was that the pug marks that we were getting around the kills and the attack that happened earlier, 2 kills and 1 injury that happened earlier, were of a larger leopard. It was quite a huge leopard. The pug mark were quite big, but the one that was caught in the trap cage was a much smaller animal, and we did not know if this was the man-eater. And if you can put yourself in the shoes of the chief wildlife of warden, or for that matter in my shoe, when the staff is saying and your DFO is saying ki sahab ye wo leopard nahi hai jo man-eating kar raha hai, then you have to trust them, and then you have to convince the chief wildlife warden, because he is the one who will give permission for its release. But thankfully, our chief wildlife warden, he was convinced that if we are saying कि ये leopard नहीं है man-eater, तो फिर ये man-eater नहीं है. And eventually, we released this leopard back into the wild. Before I actually show you the leopard, but this is one issue that I would want to bring to the notice of people. I'm sure you people must be already aware of it. is the moment you catch hold of a leopard, the entire village is around there, and like people from neighboring villages, they would come and they would they would want to actually kill the leopard then and there, and often they would also if you are around or if a forest staff is around, then they would also in the process they would not mind hurting you or like fatally wounding you in the process. There's so much of anger amongst the local people. So trapping a leopard is in itself a challenge, but taking the animal out of a village safely in one piece without causing any injury because of the anger of the people is a far, far bigger challenge. Anyway, I mean, we face it quite often. So I was just wishing to give you an idea of how people get crowding. We have our staff. We try to move people away and move the animal as soon as possible from there. And as I said, this was the leopard we had caught. So this leopard was finally released back into the wild, the one that we had caught. Now, the next killing that took place was a 4-year-old child and very close to the first killing. Now, this child had gone along with his mother and 2-3 more ladies in the who had gone to attend the nature's call, and this child was just standing there. The leopard appeared from the bushes, tried to take away the child. The ladies were alert, they caught hold of the child, and eventually the leopard gave away, but in the process the child died, only 4-year-old. And this was about 4.47 kilometers from the temple, from where the girl was lifted earlier. And if you now look at the dates now, so the first killing took place in April, the second injury took place in May, then the third killing, that is the girl, took place on 14th of July. Now this took place 4 days later on 18th of July. So 2 killings within 4 days, and now we know that the leopard is becoming more and more aggressive, and it is losing the fear of humans, and it is becoming more and more bold in attacking people. The next attack took place on 29/7. So 14, 18 and 29, 11 days later. And in this case, this was a lady about 55 years of age who was sleeping inside her home. So now in that part of the country, they have pakka houses, but they do not have any doors, which is very strange. They don't have doors. So the lady was sleeping inside. She was staying alone. And the leopard identified and came inside her house and carried her away. And by the time her body was found, the leopard had eaten everything in the upper part of her body, excepting her arms. Just her arms were left and part of her ribcage was left, but it had absolutely consumed everything, virtually eaten everything. Now, as you can see, we had a very severe problem at hand. We had a very brazen man-eater, which was becoming bolder by the day, and the killing frequency was becoming more frequent. And at the same time, a leopard with 4 kills and an injury. There's a lot of hue and cry among the people. There's a lot of unrest, and there's a lot of political pressure. And I hope you can understand a lot of pressures on people who are managing things at field level. So what we had done, and this was about 4.78 kilometers from the last killing site. So what we had done, we had actually installed a trap cage, and as luck would have it, about 3 weeks later, there weren't any killing thereafter. 3 weeks later, this leopard, it actually came inside the trap cage. Now, what was happening that it was frequenting one village in the evening every day, and the people were saying that it would come, and in the same village we had installed a trap cage, but it would not go towards the trap cage. It would only go and stand at a particular place, or move around a particular place and then go back to the forest. So once we moved the trap cage there, after 3-4 days, it was luckily trapped there. And as you can see, it's a very ferocious leopard, and it injured itself in the process. You can see the entire face. It rubbed and it banged on the door in the process, trying to get out. And here, it was taken to the Lucknow Zoo because we couldn't have obviously wild. So this is after, the blood is all gone, but his face is quite swollen, as you can see. And this is one video that I would like to show you. Now, as you can see, it's got absolutely white eyes. It's pretty ferocious. A full-grown leopard and quite a young, a young adult, as you can see, and absolutely healthy. To date, we do not know why it became man-eater, why it started attacking, humans. We don't know at all. And this is a CCTV camera footage because it's very ferocious, so it would not let anybody come near it, and it would become very aggressive. So this is a CCTV camera footage that is seen here. So that's it. Thank you very much, and I'm open to questions if you want.
Yes, sir. Swaz Kumar sir would like to ask something.
Thank you, Shivaji. You made a wonderful presentation today. I'm very glad to hear you again after Delhi's presentation.
Thank you, sir.
You remember that?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to talk about the cage which you people are using in this particular case. This is not the right cage, trap cage, because it has certain structural defect which causes that kind of injury. Suppose you have trapped a healthy leopard, you will make it a leopard which cannot be released because it will break its canine or injure its forehead and all that. So probably, I don't know whether you are using that case again and again right now also. Or
we are using padded cages.
Pardon?
We are using padded cages now.
Okay, right. So that is one thing. The other thing is the cage should have something on the floor, a slab with holes, so that whatever excreta, the urine goes, it goes and gets into that trough under that cage. And so that keeps the cage safe from various infections and all that. So that is the thing. The point regarding what happens when there are so many leopards and you have to catch the culprit, that is the man-eater. I can tell from my own experience, I caught a leopard here near Bhopal, yes, 40 kilometers from the town. It was a small village in which the leopard had actually killed a boy and actually took it from the machan on which the boy was sleeping in this summer night. It did not take the bigger boy, but the smaller one, and came down and took it away. And it didn't go very far. There was a patch near a nala of small bushes and all that. And it ate that boy there. I was called by my friend, Mr. Jawad Hassan, and he wanted me to come. I was on leave, in fact. I was doing my sabbatical. So I went with him. People were not really ready to tell me what kind of animal it was. Some people were telling that it has a long mane, it has stripes and all that. But we could find the pug mark on the road, forest road. And we concluded that it's the leopard. And the choice of the prey, the smaller kid rather than the bigger one, that is another indication that is the leopard. So what we did, because that leopard had already killed 2 more kids earlier over a period of 3 months. So we decided to place 2 trap cages in that area. One at the spot where the boy was killed and eaten. We took the soil smeared with blood and entrails and made a small ball of some piece of cloth and placed it behind that liver, the trap liver. And that cage was set up there. And the other was kept on the road toward the village under a tree with a goat inside. So I was certain that the leopard is not going to go for the goat or the dog, because it is a confirmed man-eater. And it will go for this trap. And within 3 hours, the leopard came inside the cage and we trapped it. So from my experience, I can tell you that there are ways to find out which leopard is the right leopard. And in this case, rightly, your staff pointed out that was not the right one, and you finally got hold of the right one. So this is from my experience. Thank you. And another leopard I got in IFM, but though it is there, he was there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your experience, and we are also getting wiser, like by the day, because we learn from our mistakes, and certainly we started using padded cages. And I do not know if you noticed, but the release cage, the cage in which the leopard was released, it's actually more like it's the one that is to be used by army. It's more like bulletproof, so it's absolutely made of an armor, made of.
Here also, I will just suggest some modification in that cage also.
Yes, sir. I know, but I was.
We have a side door which you can pull with a rope, or you can tie it with a jeep and pull it up. Because the gate which comes down from the upper side, it may injure the animal. Suppose
it breaks the rope.
So that is another modification you can make to your cage.
The point that I was making said in the summer season, such close cage become very hot, and the animal can actually, it becomes serious. So, but anyway, I mean, these are all part of our job, and we tend to learn and improve. That's why I said in the very beginning that it is not a presentation about what was right or what was wrong. It is more like
I'm just telling it for the benefit of everybody.
Thank you, sir. Very, very, very nice suggestions.
All that.
Beneficial from my point of view.
The purpose of your presentation is to come out with certain ideas which may be helpful to others, and you have already done that. I'm just adding to it.
Thank you, sir. Very, very enriching. Certainly very enriching. Thank you so much, sir.
Can I?
Over to Shivaji.
Yeah, Swam Prabha wants to ask you what triggered these killings. She has a question.
Hi, Swam Prabha. Hope all is well. So maybe she's not. Anyway, see, we still don't know. As I told you before, in most of the cases, or almost in all cases, we are able to attribute a cause for the man-eating. The main causes of man-eating are an animal becoming incapacitated to hunt. The other is, if there is a cub, and if the tigress is the mother, that is, if the mother is a man-eater, then the children sometimes, the cubs, they pick up, man-eating. Sometimes it is accidental killing, and then, it actually, and if there is no one around and it gets a taste of the human being, then maybe it gets emboldened to do. Or, sometimes it's an old animal, and, that's why it starts killing. But in this particular case, I showed you the video, especially it's a very young animal. It is still in the Lucknow Zoo eating the maximum amount of meat. It eats 4 kgs of meat every day. It's very healthy. It's a male and absolutely flawless animal. And as I said earlier, it was occasionally man-eating. It wasn't it is not that it is doing it on a regular basis for the purpose of filling its stomach. So I do not know. I'm sorry, but I don't have an answer, Swami.
All right. Exactly. That was what I was thinking, that doesn't seem to have cubs, is a male and a young male. So what would have been a reason? Is it because there's a lot of encroachment within that forest areas, or what has led to that kind of a behavior? Because you also showed that it was sporadic, within a time range. It's not that it's happening, say, within every week, but it was longer. So there has to be some other triggers which would have, and seems to be an interesting and a very intelligent creature as well, because what I understood is that he would come and frequent the village before it would attack. So it's a very intelligent animal by itself to have done that kind of a scoping. And so therefore, that was why my curiosity was there, that what was it? Was it that infringing into their territory, or that territory, because it's a corridor kind of a thing? Was that space less?
No. It is a forest animal. There's very good forest inside, but as I said earlier, there are a number of leopards, but only particularly in that area. I still don't know why, but in a span of say 10 to 15 kilometers in width, we have the most leopards coming out. So we have kind of a hotspot in that particular region. 10 to 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers is where the leopards are outside. In other places, we do not have conflict with leopards. We haven't come across yet. But sporadically, one or two there might be. But like this is the area where we have the most conflict. We still do not know why. Why the leopards are coming out from here or in this place? Maybe, as you rightly pointed out, there might be lesser number of prey, or they might be coming out because maybe for feeding dogs. It must be something to do with cropping pattern. We're still looking at it.
Shall I interfere?
Thank you.
Yes, please, Patil sir. Yes, I am. Yes, please. Thank you for being patient.
I'm Praveen Patil from Nasik, retired DFO.
Can you please speak a little louder, please? आपका आवाज थोड़ा तेज कर सकते हैं क्या? हाँ.
I am Praveen Patil.
Yes, please.
Retired DFO as anti-poaching unit from Mumbai.
Lovely.
I am at present residing in Nasik. We had 4 kills last 3-4 months back in Nasik, and we caught 13 leopards in the 15 kilometers area. And because of the easy prey, easy hiding, they get easy shelter in the sugarcane fields. Water is plenty of their hiding places are there, and easy prey. And they are entering the city also now at present, city areas also. It is panic in Nasik around the border city area. We have to catch 13 leopards. The one was the male, which was a man-eater, and we had kept it in Borivali National Park, Sanjay Gandhi National Park.
Wow.
They didn't get prey in forest area, so they are coming to sugarcane fields, and their multiplication is very speeding up now.
Now, thank you very much. Very nice point raised, and this is also something that I would want to highlight. See, what is actually happening is with every kill that is happening, there is more pressure on the higher authorities to declare it a rogue or to declare it a man-eater and to shoot it down. Now, the question that is the biggest question, and like this comes, every time a killing permit is issued by the Chief Wildlife Warden, the big question is how do you identify which is the man-eater? So as he very rightly said that in a very small area, if there are 15 leopards that they have caught, now imagine like people would want every leopard in the area to be shot down. So it is a huge management issue, and with every killing, the resentment among the people is rising. That is one thing. The other thing that I wanted to say is we rescued a leopard last year, and you won't believe it, the nearest forest by the crow flight distance was more than 100 kilometers. So we found it it had entered a village. It was successfully rescued, released back into the wild. But the issue is, it is 100 kilometers away from the nearest forest area. So it would have traveled 100 kilometers. But like the fact is, as Suhas Kumar sir also rightly pointed out, and as Mr. Patil also pointed out, the sugarcane, fields, and they offer a very perfect habitat for the leopards to stay on a longer period of time. So it is not that it would have strayed from the forest. It is possible that it might have been living there for some years. Not that. This is what I think. I mean, you might not agree with me. Anyway, Dr. Shivaji, Advait.
So, I think there's a crying need for a centralized kind of a standard operating procedure that maybe someone high up, maybe Delhi or someplace can get together experts and come up with. Obviously, it will have to be modified for local conditions. But very important problem that you're pointing out. There are lots and lots of leopards, and one of them is a man-eater. It's a tough thing. So maybe some standardized procedures, how involving people from the forensics, maybe they would be able to help us, come up with how to go about finding out maybe DNA, things like that. Maybe some labs can be identified where the DNA can be sent immediately. Some standard procedures can be told, how to collect the DNA from a body.
That's very right, because see, if a saliva, that is the first thing that can be collected. But I'm a little embarrassed to admit, but we do not have that kind of equipment. Our staff is not trained. The person who reaches the first is not trained to collect the saliva within an hour before it dries out. And in the summers, it dries out even more sooner. And one can look for hair if one is lucky. So if agar kuch khaya hai, to baal kai baar mir jate hain. There is a SOP that has been formulated by the NTCA, and we follow it to a large extent. But this particular part of DNA identification is certainly the need of the hour. I accept it and I agree.
The other quick question I had was, is there a history of man-eating like Garhwal Kumaon? We know, since Jim Corbett times or even earlier, there has been man-eating incidences of tigers and leopards in those regions. In this region also is similar?
Yeah, but not. This was possibly the one in many years, one man-eating. Otherwise, there are human kills and injuries, but then you can make out that this was a chance attack or an accident, and this was not intentional. But in this particular case that I showed it, the leopard was very brazen. It was very bold. The way it was taking, people or attacking people, it was very bold, and usually it doesn't happen that way. And I had seen.
Bhardwaj Saab is asking some questions. He's in the chat box if you could.
Sure. Let me see. Let me check. Yes, the thing is that the problem did not occur, and that is why we came to know. That is how we came to know that we had caught the right leopard. So the killing ceased thereafter. There was actually a kill just after that. There was one kill, the last kill that we talked about was of a lady called Urmila, and this was on 29/7/2019. One kill did come on 2/9/2019, that is 2nd of September. In this case, it was a 5-year-old kid. And, but we weren't sure if it was a leopard. It was kisi hinsak vanya jeev dwara maar diya gaya. It was possibly a hyena. So anyway, but the killing stopped thereafter. There were no kills thereafter. Uske baad fir kills nahi hua us particular.
Any incidents of animal captured from other area and released in this area? Some old incidents or some history?
No, not that way. Yeah, that would have been a very plausible explanation. But no, we do catch animals from other areas and release, but not in this particular area. Even the one that we captured, we took it 70 kilometers away and released it. So even if it is a man-eating, we'd come to know, okay, some man-eating incidents taking place there, and then we should be prepared to face the music for releasing a man-eater without. Yeah. But thankfully, nothing happened, and I have another wildlife sanctuary under me, which is again about 500 square kilometer sanctuary. It's called Sujoy Banerjee. So it has got very good habitat, and whenever we catch leopards, some 3-4 5 leopards, we had caught at different places in Uttar Pradesh. They have been released there. Now, this being a very thin sanctuary, about a 4-kilometer width, and also a lot of human interference, being there villages inside and roads inside, we are not very keen to release leopards caught from outside to be released in this particular sanctuary. But we do have some good habitat in this year as well, for leopards ke liye to acha habitat hai, kafi acha habitat hai. Prey based.
Thanks for the wonderful experience sharing.
Yeah. Dr. Shivaji, your mic is off. Your mic is off.
Nima would like to know if there are any suggestions for the first response team.
Yeah, we are gradually trying to train our people also as to how to respond to the situation, and a lot of things we improvise. Say for example, अभी जैसे सर ने सुहास कुमार सर ने बोला भी कि नीचे का जो है उसको वो आप लोग उसको मतलब छेद वाला होना चाहिए ताकि वो पास हो जाए. But more than that, what we do is कि जो नीचे चूंकि मट्टी का है, then like people would put मट्टी ला करके डालेंगे, वहीं से लोकल मट्टी डालेंगे, उसके इतने बढ़िया से पाटते हैं कि वो दूर से दिखता ही नहीं केज. अगर आप वहां पे केज इतना बढ़िया से हाइड करके रखते हैं, इतना बढ़िया से उसको रखते हैं, अगर आप बगल से निकल जाएंगे आपको मालूम नहीं चलेगा कि ये एक ट्रैप केज है, आपको लगे कोई केव है या कोई ऐसा नेचुरल वो है. These are our people have learned they have themselves learned, as you would have seen, कि उसका lift कैसे करना है उसके ऊपर का. So instead of a person standing on top of it and risking himself, they actually tied it to a top of a tree, made a rope pulley, and then actually pulled the door that way. So people are doing a lot of innovations themselves. Now they have become quite an expert in taking pug marks. That is the first thing that we do. Unfortunate part is we do not, sometimes there are times when we do not get good pug marks, Is a killing has taken place, for example, in a house which is cemented, then there are no pug marks. Or अगर गर्मी का time है तो कहीं पर भी pug marks नहीं आएंगे खेत वेत के आस. Not know what kind of animal has killed it. We also come across cases. I purposely did not put any photograph of any dead person. It doesn't sound very appealing. But one particular case I would want to mention is लोग murder करके जो है उसको जंगल में फेंक देते हैं. And then, obviously कोई ना कोई जानवर तो नोचेगा ही नोचेगा. There are a lot of scavengers there, and then they would say कि some wild animal has killed. And one particular case, is there was a boy who had some huge gashes, some 4 parallel gashes on his neck. And it was told कि इसको leopard ने मारा है. And the moment it happened at some other place, and CCS साहब ने जब मेरे को photo भेजा, then at the first look I told कि ये murder है, ये नहीं है, because चारों जो मतलब the talons would not come so evenly. और वैसे फाड़ता भी नहीं, because it is an animal which would actually strangulate, so it will never use its paw to kill someone. And if people are okay by it, I'm ready to share the photo. अगर आप लोग देखना चाहते हैं, I'm very happy to share the photo. You want me to share? Shall I share?
I think you may.
Want me to share? Shall I share?
I think you may. Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see quickly if I have it right here where I'm thinking it is. And yeah, I have the photos here. Shall I share here, yes, Shivaji?
Yes, please.
How do I share photos? I'll do it in the form of a presentation. Then that will be better. Just let me get hold of the photos. I don't know if it's ethical to share because you might be recording it, but nevertheless, I am doing it in good faith. The identity of the boy should not be shown, and so I hope please follow those protocols. Or if you can turn off the recording for a while, please turn it off. If you can turn it off, can you turn off the recording?
Mr. Kapil, you can please kindly put off the recording.
Just for a while. You can again
Mr. Kapil. I think we may not be able to put it off.
Can you see this? Can you see the photo?
Yes.
This is how it was, and this is how the injury was told to have been done by a leopard. So I mean you see there are a lot of issues involved, and by and large is the moment an attack or a killing takes place, then we by now can very well tell whether it was done by a cat family, whether it was done by a dog family, by the manner in which this was done. Like, for example, I was told that one person was going on a motorcycle and a leopard came and attacked him on his hand, and he went back into the bushes. The fellow fell down and he had injuries. Now, a leopard would never come and paw at a motorcyclist. No? If it want to attack, it will attack him full on the body and make sure it jumps and climbs on that man. It won't come and hit like this. So sometimes we have to let go of such issues because some compensation that person will get. And as I said earlier, it suits people, if they're found dead in the forest and the part eaten, then they get compensation. But it does become a problem for us to account for it. Like, हमको तो देख के मालूम चल जाता है कि ये मतलब किसने खाया है, किसने मारा है, कैसे मारा है. And as a matter of policy, we do not entertain such claims, and we vehemently tell the police it is a murder. So first, you certify this is not a murder, and let the PM report certify it is not a murder and it is done by a wild animal, and only then we'll process. So sometimes we become people unfriendly, but we do that way. Sir, Suhas sir, आपका mic बंद है, sir. सुहास सर आपका
Mic,
माइक
mic.
म्यूट है सर.
Yes.
Mic, sir, mic.
सर आपका माइक म्यूट है, अभी भी माइक म्यूट है.
अभी आ गया. हाँ, मैं कह रहा था कि जो अद्वैत ने शायद कहा था ये डीएनए के लिए, आई थिंक आज की तिथि में बहुत आवश्यक हो गया और इससे आप तुरंत पता लगा सकते हैं. ये जैसे रिपोर्ट आएगी, यू विल नो what animals or animal has done it, because as you said, leopard might have killed it, didn't eat it, some other animal came later and started eating it. So probably you can give the benefit of doubt with leopard that this was an accident, not a man-eating. So that is very important now, the DNA sample collection from the body of the victim. First thing. The second thing you said about the pug mark, once you are aware that the leopard is operating in this village or in certain villages in the surrounding, along with the normal thing which you do, you tell people to remain indoors in the night and all that. You also must start making the pug impression pads on the pugdandies which go to the forest. So, because usually the leopards follow those, because the cattle goes through that. So, and even in the village you have 2-3 roads, you can make those PIPs, and then you will get the right kind of prints. Otherwise, in the mud, if you get a print, it is useless. There is no fun. So you have to do that. Probably these are the things which we should be doing now to eliminate the possibility of getting the wrong leopard or tiger. Thank you.
So the issue here is that like collecting a DNA.
Job is to face the mob.
Yeah.
Most challenging job is to face the mob psychology.
Yes.
Because the people are so annoyed. They attack our staff also, and they interfere the work.
Very true. My belief also. So the issue here is collecting. Yes, certainly. So the issue here, Suhas Kumar sir, that the issue here is collecting the DNA by the staff and reaching it to the lab wherever, say for example, agar Lucknow mein hai, so Balrampur se Lucknow is 4 hours, and getting a result in a day. तब तो सिर्फ उसका फायदा है, अदरवाइज DNA सैंपल पहुंचाया और वो जो है उन्होंने जो है 1 महीने बाद रिपोर्ट दिया, उसका कोई मतलब ही नहीं निकलता. इट डजंट सर्व.
नहीं मतलब है खास तौर से ऐसे केसेस में जिसमें कह रहे हैं कि किसी ने मार के जंगल में डाल दिया. Even if the result comes out after some time, probably you have a very clear picture that this is not a man-eating case. So that is very important. And see, I don't know which labs are doing that in Uttar Pradesh. Usually we have been sending it to, they are very prompt. Even in 15 days, they charge you certain fees, but they give you report in 15 days time. And that is, I think, good enough for us, because this man-eating continues for months. We had a case in Dhar, and the villages were 40 kilometers apart from each other. 3 villages were affected. And the leopard was moving. In one night, it used to move 40 kilometers to some other village and do the incident there also. Okay, thank you.
Any questions from the audience? So I think we are done with the questions from the attendees, and now it's time for me to really thank Mr. Sujoy Banerjee for agreeing to be on this talk. Basically, we have been struggling to get him since quite some time, and we had some waiting for that. But I'm fortunate, sir. Our organization is fortunate to have you on this platform, and do keep joining us in future also. We are trying to get like-minded conservationists on this platform and sharing views and opinions. Thank you very much for sharing your experience here. And I would like to thank...
Thanks to Shivaji also.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks to Shivaji also. He has given us the opportunity to join the meeting.
Thank you. So thank you very much, sir. And thank you, Suhas Kumar, sir. Thank you, Bhagwat, sir. Thank you all who attended and could spare their valuable time. Mr. Arora is there. Nice to see you. So thank you very much, sir. And it was a very impressive sort of a presentation from the field point of view. As I said, the ground zero situation. That's what we face every day. Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you. And with prayers to God that may this divine soul of late Mr. Ajay Desai rest in peace, rest in eternal peace. So we will take forward the legacy which he has left, and I assure through this platform of our organization that we'll keep doing our best to see that the enlightenment of his soul continues and shows us the future path. Thank you very much for all of you for joining us in this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It was a pleasure speaking to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sujoy, sir.
Thank you. So nice meeting all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you.
Thanks, Shivaji.
Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you, Shivaji. Bye.
Thank you, Lima.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you, Dada Saab. Thank you.
Dongre sir.
Thank you, Anjana. Thank you, Arwa Saab. Thank you, Jadoo Saab. Thank
Dongre
you.
sir is also there. Dongre sir is also
Thank you,
there.
Manzoor Khan Saab. Thank you, Dongre sir. Thank you, Bhargav sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kapil. Thank you, Divyangji. Thank you, Robert.
Thanks.
Our local range officer has also joined. He has also joined the meeting. Who had faced the problem in Nasik? Mr. Vivek Badani. He is the range officer in Nasik at present. He had caught 13 leopards in a month. One was the man-eater, which we sent it to Sanjay Gandhi National Park.
Praveen, I am not able to hear you.
You are not able to hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
the voice is very... yeah. Now it's okay.
Okay. The mic was far away, that's why. Our local range officer, Nasik, he has also joined the meeting. And he is the hero who caught 13 leopards in that area. Facing the public.
Why don't we have him on the show sometime?
Yeah, he was in a function. That's why he cannot present himself. He told me, sir, I'm in a function.
You can talk to him and he can share the experience on this lecture show.
Yes, sure.
You kindly talk to him and let us get him here. We can request him. Okay?
Yes.
That will be a nice experience to hear from you.
Yeah, the local experience is important. How you face the people.
Definitely. You can request him on my behalf.
Yes. Next meeting we will ask him.
Okay. Please let me know so that I can schedule it. Okay?
Yes. Have a good day.
You too. Have a nice weekend. Have a nice evening. Dongre Saab, have a nice evening. Mr. Umesh, have a nice evening and a weekend. Divyang sir, bye.
I just joined. I just reached here.
Yeah.
I just reached. Still welcome.
You are at the
I traveled all around from Chhattisgarh. Just now I reached.
Thank you.